Good morning, everyone. This is Kendall Askins from Stimulating Minds. Askins stimulates on all of our social media platforms, joining you on another day with another Rethinking Math. And today, I want to talk to you guys about another great debate. And it's this concept of mastery and stacking concepts. So often I hear educators and I hear parents talking about it too. But mostly I've had this conversation with educators where when teaching concepts for math at certain grade levels, a lot of educators will not teach to the grade level, right? Will not teach students on grade level because they say that they haven't mastered the prior skills. And so a lot of educators will spend a lot of time in class teaching skills and teaching things that students should have learned in grades before. And it's because they, say that when they ask students about these things that students are like, they have no idea. And parents often understand this or seem understanding to it because math is one of those subjects that builds on the next. So even with students I work with, right? Parents will often say that, they're behind, they don't understand, and will want me to start with the concepts that they don't know, like from previous years, and build. And I always push back on that, right? And here's the reason why. Mastery requires time, right? So we're often teaching students these high-level concepts in a short amount of time. And what educators forget is you've had years to process this information. And this is the first time that your students are seeing the information. This is the first time they are processing it. They haven't even processed it for 30 minutes, right? Within 1 week's time, you're expecting mastery, and then you never talk about the subject again. And when you really think about it and put it in perspective, that's laughable. There's no way that you're going to teach a concept to a child within 1 week's time, expect them to master it, and then expect them to be able to recall that information a year later when you're trying to build a concept, right? And so knowing that children have the skill or have been exposed to it before, you can still build on their knowledge. And I'll give you a perfect example. So I remember being in either upper elementary or junior high school when I learned how to find area, right? Area and circumference of a circle specifically. I learned how to find the area of, many two-digit figures, but specifically I want to talk about a circle because of how this progresses over time. So I understood what area was, right? And I understood how to use the formulas. I understood that area was filling something with squares. And I understood what kind of problems, would require me to use the formula. That's it, right? So the formula is there. I know when I have to use it. I understand pi's there, diameter, whatever. So I was able to do it, move forward. Then college comes, right? And I remember taking a class and I remember the teacher being so excited about the relationship between pi and the diameter and the radius of a circle. And I'm sitting here like, okay, yeah, the formula says that. Why is this teacher so excited? And I remember vividly looking at the teacher like, why is this teacher so excited about this concept? Years later, right? So that's college. Then I come out of college and I have to teach the concept. And when I had to teach a concept, I realized the relationship on a different level and realize that relationship, the relationship between the circumference of a circle and its diameter, if you divide the circumference of any circle, any size circle by its diameter, you will always get pi. That was mind blowing. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize that. Even though I had been using the formula, even though I understood the formula, even though I sat through that college class and my professor was so excited, I didn't realize until I had to teach it, right? And then understanding the formula for area too. I had a similar epiphany. And it was in those moments as a grown adult, right, that have been using it all this time, that I had hit mastery because I understood it at a different level. As a grown adult, from learning it from a teenager, you're talking about over 10 years probably of time. 10 years. It took me, someone who understood the concept, to actually have mastery of it, right? So does that mean that my teachers should not have moved on with the concepts, right? And every year should have started me back at ground zero because I didn't have this higher level understanding of the concepts, or maybe couldn't recall certain things? No, that's not what it means, right? And so when we look at mastery, that's not what's required to help continue to build on a foundational skill. What's required is understanding. So I'll give you a lens from same concept, right? Area of a circle. When I went to teach area of a circle in my classroom, I wanted the students to understand that you're literally taking squares made from the radius and you're filling it inside of a circle. In order for them to understand that, we talked about what does area mean? And they understood it means to fill it with squares, right? Fill a shape with squares. Okay, so if you're filling a shape with squares, we found area of rectangle, squares, like a shape where squares can easily fit. They understood that. They remembered that, right? We just recalled that information. So now how do we fit squares inside of a circle? And that's where we started from. Did they know all the formulas? Did they remember everything? Did they understand all the relationships? Did they understand why that formula? No, but we just started to make sure everybody was on the same page and everybody understood that when you're finding the area of any shape, it means that you're filling that shape with squares, including a circle. Right? And so I want to encourage educators out there that just because you have to teach a concept, it doesn't mean you have to start where the kids demonstrate mastery, because you will never have the children on their grade level or above. Understand that having a foundational understanding is not the same as mastery, and you don't have to continue to teach a topic until you feel that the children know it inside out. You just want to make sure they have enough understanding to follow and grasp the new concept that you're about to do. Why? Because math builds on itself. That foundational concept will come up over and over again. And the more they see it, the more they understand the foundation is what's building on the new concept, and the more they can continue to make those connections, the deeper their understanding is going to go. So I'm going to encourage you, keep the rigor high, keep moving our students forward. Let's hear some of your experiences down below. Make sure you share this out, and you share some of your experiences or your viewpoints on mastery versus understanding. Let's make it a great day, and I'll see you back here next week for more fun. Bye.